Guys, take a look at this. Today's episode is about making those perfect, crispy, crunchy, golden French fries. God, they are tasty. Well, howdy folks. Welcome to Texas Cooking Today. I'm Stuart Trotter, your host. Today we're going to be preparing some wonderful, delicious food. And what you're watching here, this is one of my tutorials. So if you're looking for all of the answers and all of the details about this recipe, you found the right video. If you just need the recipe, watch the previous episode. That's what that is. And thank you very much for watching. Now, let's get into this. Well, guys, as you've seen, beautiful French fries are absolutely possible at home. You know, getting the outside crispy and crunchy and a beautiful golden, while the inside is light and fluffy and just perfectly right. Well, it's kind of a trick, you know, getting that fast food kind of fries. And if you think it's a matter of just cutting up some potatoes and frying it in some certain way, and then you're going to have your good fries, well, it doesn't really work that way with French fries. To do French fries that are like that, that's a process. And they're not going to be made without going through that process. And that's what I'm going to teach you today, guys. I'm going to teach you the process that these major corporations spent millions of dollars trying to figure out how to do. It is a process of preparing the potatoes prior to full cooking. And if you do that process right, you can prepare these days in advance of actually using them. And the day of, fry up your fries and absolutely amaze people. So guys, we're going to get in the kitchen now, and I want to teach you all of the processes and methods that are involved in making absolutely perfect French fries. Now come on, let's go on in there and get at it. Alright guys, this is simple enough. We have potatoes, we have oil, alright? Well, there's going to be a little water used also, and I'll show you that as well. What we have to do is we have to get these potatoes sliced just right. So whether you're using a knife or a machine, well, we're going to take a look at both methods. We're going to cut these down into about 1/4 inch square rectangles, okay? So nice little long strips. You want good long potatoes for this. I like to use a russet potato when it comes to frying. I think they're really good. And for the oil, I like to use peanut oil. It's just that simple. So those are your ingredients: potatoes and peanut oil. Now, if you think the oil doesn't really matter, well guys, it really does. Peanut oil has a certain flavor to it that when you have French fries fried in peanut oil, you're going to be like, oh wow, that is really, really good tasting. So you're going to like this. Peanut oil French fries. We're going to cut them up, process them, and then we're going to fry them up later on. So let's get at it, and I'll show you how to make the world's best French fries. Come on. Now guys, we need to go ahead and fill up our pan with oil. And something, you know, the only reason I'm talking to you about this right now is I thought it was important enough to mention that when you are using a fry pan, okay, in other words, you're going to cook on the stove and you're going to deep fry, okay, you're going to have 1 inch or more of oil in there. Right now I have about 1 inch in there, and I'm going to increase it just a little bit more. But I like good deep oil like this to deep fry in. Of course, that's what deep frying is. And this is helpful when you're doing French fries especially, but there's something you need to know. Look at the pan I'm using. Look how tall the pan I'm using is. It's not a short pan like a fry pan. It's a deep pan. That's 6 inches deep, guys. So what I have there is a wonderful pan that is great for doing French fries, because when I throw them in there and they bubble up, that oil won't rise up above the surface of the sides of the pan and overflow it. If that happens, you're going to end up with a grease fire. So don't let that happen. The other thing you're going to need is a frying thermometer. In this game, temperature is key, and what we're about to do is a process that involves 2 different times that you fry the French fries, and the temperature is going to be absolutely paramount on both of those. Now let's take a look at this very dangerous instrument. And the reason I say that this thing is so dangerous is because of people's propensity to want to put food on it and start just processing it through there. And if you do that, oh, your fingers are going to be a bloody mess. Now, right now I have this set up for cutting French fries. Let me show you some of what's going on here that makes all of this dangerous. First of all, we have our slicing blade, which is this one here, and this is just a V-shaped razor blade. That's what that is, a V-shaped razor blade. Okay, and it is virtually razor sharp. It's quite incredible. This piece snaps in and out right here. These are also just pointed razors that stick up. The sharp side is the sloped side that faces up. Okay, so again, very sharp blades, and there's other blades that go in these that are equally sharp, guys, and very dangerous. So the thing of it is when you're using one of these, you have to be supremely careful. There is a device that is made to be used with this, and that's this item here. It's your food holder. Some people call this a puck. Other, because it kind of looks like a hockey puck, I guess. But there's various names for it. It's all about food safety. The whole idea here is so that you can have your food attached on the underside of this, and you hold it up here, and your hand is protected by this plastic guard that goes around it, so you don't actually come in contact with those blades. Never, ever use a mandolin without one of these. If you don't have one of these, throw the mandolin away and buy another one that has one. Don't ever attempt to use one for any reason at any time without this. And if you do, you're going to regret it, as I've watched many people do. Now, I'm going to recommend one thing. If you're thinking about buying a mandolin, go out and buy some really nice knives instead. And if you do buy one of these, use utmost care and put it in a place where kids can't get to it, because someone's going to get hurt otherwise. They're very difficult to clean. There's too many parts, and I don't recommend them. However, that having been said, they will make the most beautiful, remarkable French fries you've ever seen. So what I want to do, this one is adjustable by a little knob, and I'm going to adjust this. That way, this cross cutter is higher than these cutters, and when I push it through there, it'll turn my potato into lovely little 1/4-inch square potato rectangles. So that's what I want to do. I want to do that on this potato. Now, as I mentioned, we don't begin to touch that device until the potato is attached to the item that's designed to protect us. On this one, it's a little bit notched out right here to hold your potato. So let's go ahead and where that notch is, push it down over the potato. As you see, the potato hangs on to those little spikes there. It's not a big thing, but that is big enough to keep you from slicing your hand to shreds, okay? So make sure you guys do it this way. The next thing, all you have to do, always hold your handle on the back here. Keep it a good firm grip on this so it doesn't get away from you. Never put this hand anywhere down below here, because you can get cut, and never put your hand anywhere on this hand anywhere other than on top of the puck. So gently we press down and push forward, and just continue in this. Repeat it until you have exhausted your potato. Now, at one point, your potato is going to get thin, and that's when you want to push this part of your puck down, okay? So, very simple, isn't it? And at some point, you're left with that, okay? Don't try forcing it through again. You'll hurt yourself, or you just make a mess. Guys, that's all I can say about using a mandolin. Treat with ultimate respect and care, And remember, never let kids touch it. And remember, you're probably going to get cut with this thing, so be supremely careful with it. Guys, there is something I wanted to talk to you about right now, and that's this mandolin. Now let me tell you something. I have watched mandolins gouge and slice people to pieces. Of all of the things in a kitchen, probably the one most dangerous implement that I can think of as far as something that is really going to hurt you, cut you up, especially your hands, that would be the mandolin. Number one, the biggest mistake people make is handling food while using a mandolin. You can't touch the food itself when using a mandolin, or you will cut yourself to pieces. You have to allow a puck to hold that food. It's the food holder, the handle, whatever you want to call it. That device is absolutely, totally necessary, and if the food you're wanting to process will not fit onto it or work through your mandolin with that, then you can't use the mandolin. Just don't use it. The thing is, I've seen too many people go to the hospital, have to go to the doctor, because they used a mandolin. So do yourself a favor, stay away from those things, okay? They're dangerous. If you decide to use one, follow the instructions carefully and be very, very thoughtful, and I recommend sober when using the thing, okay? Never, ever allow children to use a mandolin, period. I mean, the rule of the house should be simple. When you turn 18, you can use a mandolin. Until then, you'll learn how to use knives. And frankly, people, yeah, the knives are a lot safer. Okay? Mandolin, very dangerous. Keep it out of reach of children and be very, very respectful of it. Now, let's get back in there and get busy making up this wonderful, wonderful dish. Now guys, as you've seen, the machine puts out this beautiful, absolutely picture-perfect fry. And the beautiful thing is this also kind of gives us a guide for what we're looking for, that beautiful shoestring potato. When you're going to be cutting up a potato like this, all right, it wants to set on its broader sides a little easier than on its edges. So do the potato a favor and let it set on that broader side. And we're going to start by giving it a more flat surface to set on. Remember, when cutting with a large knife like this, that you want to grab the blade up here with your thumb and first finger, wrap the other fingers around that handle. That way you get good control. Otherwise, that knife, it can rotate in your hand like this when you're trying to cut, and you don't want that to happen. You want it to stay steady, and this is the way you get that steady. Now, as I mentioned, our potatoes, they want to kind of roll around on us. So I'm going to set one up on its edge. Now, see how my fingers are turned under right here? That way, the knife can't ever cut my fingertips. Always keep that thumb behind as well, and it helps to control the food. So, I'm using my fingers as a guide to the side of my blade right now. I'm going to make a single slice downward. There. Now what this gives me is a good flat condition. The thing doesn't want to roll on me now. So all what I can do is I can start making lengthwise cuts the thickness that I want. So I just look down the length of my knife at the width of cut that I want to make and make a straight cut. All right? I want to repeat that over and over again. Now, right now, we've hit the crest of the potato. If I keep cutting this way, I could injure myself, all right? So even though I run the risk of getting a few uneven pieces, I'm going to turn this potato around. I look at this side of the potato and lift my knife up so it matches that side, okay? So we're going to do that. And cut my outside off. And go and finish making my cut potato. This way, if the knife slides, it always slides away from me if it's sliding downhill. And that's what you want, is a good safe condition like that. Now here we have our potato. It's all cut up beautifully. Okay, just like that. And our slices are good and even. So what we do next, I take my knife, set it on my board, and I shove my potatoes to a line along that bottom edge that we first cut. Isn't that easy enough? So we then want to use those fingers, this knuckle as a guide, tips turned under again, and I'm going to make my cross cuts like this. Now let me get this so I can see it good. Your potatoes may slide. Just realign them if they do. There we are. Now I have a bottom piece, a little bit wider. Let's just go ahead and straighten that up. It's not perfect, but I'll tell you what, you have some pretty darn good shoestring potatoes there. Now let's compare one of mine to that original. Looks like mine are just slightly bigger maybe, but not by much, okay? How do you like that, guys? Okay, so it's just a matter of practice and taking your time. Don't be in a rush when you're working on those knife skills like that. Your potatoes, just go ahead when you cut them and put them in a bowl. We're going to be washing those in a little bit. Guys, I have those 3 potatoes sliced up and here in my bowl. Now the next part in this process, remember I told you this is a process, not just a matter of cutting and frying, okay? These are not ready to be fried at all. All right, these are ready to be destarched. So what I need to do is I need to fill this with water, wash these real good, drain the water, refill it, wash them real good again, drain the water until I'm certain that these are thoroughly clean and destarched. Now guys, look at this. You see how murky that water is? Okay, you want your water to be completely clean. When you can do this to your fries and that water stays good and clear and clean, your fries are properly washed at that point, okay? So just keep going at it until we have clean water with French fries sitting in it. This is the destarching process, and it's possibly one of the most important parts of this whole thing. Here we are. This is rinse number 2. Look how cloudy the water is already. I mean, I just put it in there. So we're going to keep doing this, as I mentioned, until that water comes out clear. Now, if you find from mechanical cutting or something like that, you have a piece of French fry like this, you might as well just get rid of this because it's going to just turn into a little crispy brown thing, and that browning is going to off the flavor of your oil. So just kind of ditch these little things, okay? If you see little pieces like this, again, that can mess with it. Not so much, but it can. Frankly, I'm one of those, I just like crunching on those little things. And I like their flavor, so I leave them in there. But you need to be aware that they can affect it, especially the little ones like this. So go ahead and weed out the useless stuff. Now guys, when your water comes out good and clear like this, your fries are ready to be drained. After that, we can pull them out and put them on the rack and get them dried out. We have to dry them thoroughly with a towel. The next thing we need to do is to take our fries, place them out on a sheet. We're going to have to dry these, guys, so just place them out kind of broad. Get them ready to take a towel or some paper towels and dry those off. If they are wet at all, the par frying process will not work the way it is supposed to. So make sure these are completely dry. Okay guys, our temperature is coming up on our oil, and as it does that, we're going to be able to drop our French fries down in there at 300 degrees. Now I want to drop them in there about 2 fistfuls at a time at 300 degrees for about 2 minutes. Pull them out, and then we're going to drop them right over here on these cooling racks. All that is just a simple pan rack. that allows the oil to drain through and for the French fry to cool as quickly as possible. The whole idea here is we're going to par fry these and then we're going to freeze them. And that way we get a special condition that allows us to make perfect French fries later. Okay, it looks like my temperature is just now coming up over the 300-degree mark. So what I'm going to do is, as I mentioned, we'll get a couple of fistfuls. Let's take me a moment here. A couple of fistfuls of fries, just like that. Drop them down in there. And I'm going to par fry these, get them moved around in that oil well so they're not stuck together. And you see how the oil comes up and it bubbles high. That's the reason you use a deep pan, guys. That's why. Now, 2 minutes and no more. This is a very quick process. Okay, we're getting close to that 2-minute mark. I believe my timer's getting ready to talk to me here. Let's go ahead and pull those fries out and get them on my draining rack. Now guys, once you get all of these out of your oil, we're simply going to reheat that oil to our starting temperature again, which it has come down from. It's come down from that 300-degree mark. I'm kind of spreading all of my fries out. And these are very tender and gentle. As you see, they break easily. I just broke one. So be gentle with them and just kind of let them sit out there and cool as quickly as they can. My oil will come back up in temperature and I'll repeat this process until I have processed all of these French fries, okay? So that's about 275 now. In a few minutes, I'll put the rest in and we'll get at it. Okay guys, once you get a full pan of French fries and they're starting to cool down well, just go ahead and put those in the freezer, okay? You don't have to worry about anything. As far as them sticking together, remember, they're coated with oil. It's not going to be an issue. Now guys, you've seen it. We've got those fries in the freezer. This is the part where if you want to do all of that you've just seen in advance, you can put your fries there in the freezer. Once they're frozen, you just gather them up and put them in a bag. They can sit there for days or weeks until you're ready to use them. Then you pull them out, deep fry those, and they are going to be so very good. So as you've seen right there, all by itself, you've gone through a processing, a very necessary processing, and it gives you a very special product. You have a product that's now A, partially cooked, B, primed in oil, C, frozen, D, ready to cook up at a moment. And because of the way it is structured, it's already partially cooked and frozen. When you reheat it, it allows that outer skin, the outer part of the potato, to get nice and crispy while not overcooking and while bringing the center of the potato up to the right temperature to be light and fluffy. It's a win-win. There you have it. Okay, so frozen, good. Now, let's get back in the kitchen and let's get busy frying some of those potatoes up. These are so good. Now guys, my French fries are now out of the freezer. These are frozen, and if you'll notice, they're not really sticking together. Well, that's because they got oil all over them. So naturally, they're not going to stick together. Take them up gently, and put them down in your oil, and put those, the remainder, back in the freezer. You want to keep these frozen. There it is, guys. Look at that. We're 1 minute in. These are starting to firm up already. I can feel them with my tongs. Be very gentle with them. You don't want to break them. All right? So now all I have to do is just wait for those to finish cooking. Something I'm going to mention, I like to mix up my own salt and MSG combination. Monosodium glutamate is what MSG is, and that's something that actually occurs naturally in your own body. Your body manufactures it. It's glutamic acid. It's actually in your spinal fluid, guys. Now, something you want to know, MSG brings out flavors in food. It turns on certain receptors on your tongue and you taste things better. Okay, so it's like an amplifier for food, and your potatoes will be more potato-y. So you get a good salty flavor and a more potato-y flavor when you use salt mixed with MSG. So that's what I do there, why I do it, and if you try it, you'll be surprised. If you're wanting to know ratio, 4 parts salt to 1 part MSG. Occasionally I do move my fries around a little bit while cooking. I do that to get an even cook. Now guys, these have been cooking up. They're starting to get a beautiful golden brown, but they're not quite there yet. I'm about 6.5 minutes in. So my time estimate might have been a little bit off, but remember, that's going to vary in every single case, okay? So when you're cooking your fries, keep an eye on them. The color is what you're going for. When you reach that perfect golden brown color, that's when you take it out of the heat. Not before. So just keep cooking until we're there. Well guys, our timer is just now hitting about 9 minutes, and my fries are right about there. So I'm going to pull them out, put them on the rack to drain. I'll just let that oil come back up in temperature. And the fries, well, I'm going to spread them out. Now guys, when I pulled my fries out, I do like to go ahead and get them salted right away. My salt sticks a little better when the fries are still warm. There's still plenty of oil on them. Oh, there they are, guys. Look at that. Oh, now earlier we just started with a big old batch of taters. Now we got a big old batch of tater fries. Crunchy, crispy, perfect. Guys, perfect French fry. You really need to try these if you've never done this before. This is the process that creates really good French fries. Okay? When you go to fast food places, when you go to really good restaurants, or you go to places that chefs know how to make good fries, that's what they're doing with it right there. There's your process, and it's so good. Guys, I would like to say thank you very much for watching Texas Cooking Today, for watching this episode. I'd like to say thank you to my subscribers. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. I do appreciate that very much. Also, give me a comment if you have any questions or any requests. Post them down below. Guys, believe it or not, I do read those things and I respond to a lot of them. All right, so check that out. Give me a thumbs up. And if you would, do one last thing, just to have a good day. Bye-bye. Well, there it is, guys. Texas Cooking Today tutorial. Thank you very much for watching this show and for watching Texas Cooking Today. If you would, please go to my channel. Check out what I have there. There's some wonderful recipes and some great tutorials waiting for you to try. Again, thank you very much.